Patrick Mahomes has entered into the pantheon of rare company, 3-time Super Bowl winner. Woo! And he's only, 28, 29 years old? That was about the same age that Tom Brady was when he had 3 rings as well. We're going to talk about Patrick Mahomes' cards. As opposed to looking at just his cards and ups and downs and that sort of thing and speculating there, let's look at it from a more of a big picture standpoint. How could it affect Tom Brady prices? How could it affect other QBs in the league? We're going to dive in. Stick around. What's going on, sports card hobby family? Back again, another day, another sports card video coming off of the back of Super Bowl Sunday. We'll talk a little bit about the game, kind of gloss over it, and then we're going to talk about football card stuff. Huge thank you to today's video sponsor, COMC.com. Folks, they are running a baseball promotion for the baseball card collectors out there. 30% off all select and elite baseball submission. The promo does stack with fresh pulls, so you can get submissions as low as 35 cents, and it runs all the way out until March 8th. So for all the baseball folks raring up for the season, a nice little baseball card special going on at COMC.com. Check it out. All right, so we'll talk a little bit about the game. As many of us watched it, I'll just throw out my take on the game. I was pulling for the 49ers. I am a longtime Saints fan, so if I don't care, I'm going for the underdog. The Saints are an underdog franchise, always have been. I have a lot of respect for those that root for, the Cleveland Browns of the world and the Detroit Lions of the world, the New Orleans Saints. It's easy to root for the perennial winners, the folks that are always there, the franchises that are there, the Steelers, the Packers, it was the Patriots for a good bit, the Cowboys, etc. But it's not as easy to stick with teams over time that have not had that sort of success. And one of those teams, it was the Kansas City Chiefs, going back to 2016-17, before the Patrick Mahomes era. And now we have entered into a space where the Chiefs have had so much success, a lot of the dynasty talk being thrown around. They've won 3 Super Bowls out of the last, 4 or 5? They are a modern day dynasty. And that's what Patrick Mahomes exclaimed it to be when he was interviewing right before the game that I watched. They want to be a dynasty. That's the whole point. Now, what of course happens when you enter into dynasty mode or multiple championship mode? You become the villain. You're the hero. Everyone's rooting for you. It's a great story. Mahomes coming out. No one thought maybe he could play the position the same way. He's kind of a gunslinger. And it turns out that he might be one of the all-time greats. He's definitely trajecting that way. He's looking more and more like a top 3 quarterback of all time. He is the only one right now that can challenge Tom Brady's career. His 7 Super Bowl wins, endless passing yards, endless touchdowns. Mahomes is going to have the nice benefit of the 17-game season as opposed to the 16 games that Breeze and Brady were used to get their records. So if Mahomes has longevity in his career, which he probably will, then he's going to challenge those records. The game itself just came down to a couple of factors. 49ers defense, I thought all in all did a great job. And I understand Mahomes kind of did his thing a little bit in the 4th, but it really wasn't until a botched punt in the, late 3rd, early 4th. I can't remember exactly when it happened, but then Mahomes got kind of an easy touchdown, a freebie touchdown, if you will, and then they started to roll a little bit. But even still, the 49ers battled them all the way through. So happy to see that. It really boiled down to, I saw a stat where they had 3 3-and-outs, the 49ers, in the second half. Their offense just could not get over the hump. I've been saying this in yesterday's video going back. The Ravens, the Bills, they had success running early on the Chiefs, and for whatever reason decided, let's go to the air. Let's start throwing more. And as we saw last night, the Chiefs secondary is really the MVP here. There's going to be a lot of Andy Reid and Mahomes talk, the geniuses, the offensive geniuses. The defense won this year's title. Hands down. It's not even close. Yes, Mahomes and the Chiefs, they moved the ball. They did some good things, but this was the worst offensive output that Mahomes has had in his career so far. And by no means was it bad, but he's just been that good over his first 4 or 5 seasons, whatever it's been, 5 seasons. This season was fairly pedestrian for him, but the difference maker was the defense was on lock. Chris Jones on the defensive line, even though they give up running yards, Chris Jones is tough. They do make stops when they need to, and the secondary was lights out. Brock Purdy had some good throws, some good routes. Those 49ers receivers can run routes, and the secondary was all over it. You have to give credit for the Chiefs defense. They were able to hold Brock Purdy in that 49ers offense Even when they decided to go to the pass for whatever reason, I don't know why we didn't see more jet sweeps, why we didn't just see a more kind of creative running attack. I said it, I thought that they should give McCaffrey the ball 35 times, or just different people on different routes, different running plays. Just run it. Figure out creative ways to run the ball and wind down the clock. That was really the only game plan that could work. And I will say, again, the 49ers defense did their part. The offense did okay, but they just could not convert key third downs. And then in the second half, when you've got 3 and outs in a row, I think there was 3 drives, there was 3 and outs. And then you throw in the botch punt that gives Mahomes a free touchdown. And that's the story. That's it. But this win for Mahomes is a big shift for football card prices, collectors, in my opinion. And why do I say this? Well, how much money has been put into Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Tua, pick your quarterback. There's a bunch of these young quarterbacks out there where there's been a lot of money that have been put into these guys, speculation money. These aren't guys that are spending huge money because they are, Josh Allen Bills fans. Sure, there are some of those. Certainly, there are definitely some of those. But there's a lot of people that are speculating that he's going to get over the hump. He's going to win Super Bowls. The problem now is that now Mahomes has a pretty big gap over these guys now. Let's look at the current crop of upstarts. Trevor Lawrence, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Brock Purdy, Baker Mayfield. All these guys that are coming out, and plus then you've got the Caleb Williams and the Drake Mays that are coming out in this year's draft. There's a pretty heavy QB draft here coming up. So there's a bunch of young talent coming up in the league. Patrick Mahomes is now head and shoulders ahead of all of these guys. So does that mean, and this is going to be something I think is answered here in this offseason, do people decide just to move out of the Burrows and the Allens and the Lamar Jacksons, which of course causes prices to depress, and move into Patrick Mahomes? Does that happen? This is a question mark, an open question mark that I'm wondering. And I guess if you are a buyer of modern quarterbacks, what's your take on this? What are you planning on doing? The other side of this is where I'm at. I buy Tom Brady stuff. I have more Tom Brady cards than any other player. Breeze and Brady are pretty close in my collection, but I have a lot of Tom Brady cards. How much of Tom Brady's prices are being held up by speculation? Hey, he's the GOAT, this and that. How many people start to move out of Tom Brady cards, or maybe just some of their Tom Brady cards that they don't like as much or whatever, because they're going to move into some Patrick Mahomes, or they're not going to move into Mahomes, but they're just worried, Mahomes is going to be seen as the GOAT in time. And so that's going to hurt Tom Brady's legacy. So do people move out of Tom Brady cards? And maybe not all of them. Maybe they sell half their collection. Maybe they want to diversify a little bit. They want to get on the Mahomes train and ride the thing up. Because remember, Mahomes is still playing. I think he's 28, 29 years old. He's got another 10 years in his career, maybe 10, 12 years, potentially, of course, barring injury. But how do football card collectors / speculators / investors in quotation marks, how do they react to this? Because I do think that there will be a move. I don't know how much of a move, and that's the thing that I want to see, but people just saying, all right, Mahomes is it. He is the guy. He's the horse to ride. He's LeBron James right now, or he's Kobe right now, kind of chasing Jordan. And I'm just using these as kind of loose comparisons. But you understand kind of the point. These guys are still playing. I know LeBron is at the end of his career, but Mahomes is a young quarterback. But Mahomes is exciting. He's got years ahead of him. And he's the only one that has a chance at catching Tom Brady among the young crop of quarterbacks. Now, it could be, hey, look, maybe Joe Burrow comes back, but he wins a couple titles. Maybe Josh Allen gets over the hump. It's really hard to win in the NFL. The last time a team went back-to-back was the Patriots 20 years ago. 20 years ago was the last time. And I know everyone's going to say, hey, look, the Chiefs are going to win 5 straight Super Bowls or whatever. Maybe they will, but it will have never been done in NFL history. And so we'll have to see, which could also make it that much more special. And so another thing I think that people could jump ship off of Brady and go to Mahomes, because it's like, hey, this guy is going to win every year. Very well could. For me personally, I bought Mahomes going back. He was one of the first guys that I speculated in on cards going back to the summer, early fall of 2019. And I bought PSA 9 Prism rookie card, and I sold too early, but I bought them for $140. I remember buying 3 of them. 2 of them were $142.50 each, and another one was $150. And I ended up selling them when on the rise at $500 to $700 each. Great, I did great on those. And I did great on a bunch of Mahomes cards. I probably bought 30 or 40 of different rookie cards, did fantastic on those. And of course, he's the one guy really, if you look at football cards outside of Tom Brady, he's the one guy that's really held up, even with, the collapse of cards. And even you say like, oh, his prices have gone down so much. If you bought at the height, then you got hurt. But if you bought in, 2018, 19, 20, then you did really well on Mahomes stuff. But I still feel, even with Mahomes prices having kind of come down here over the last 12 months compared to where they were at all-time highs, I feel like the career is baked in on this guy. I still don't see, how there's a ton of upside on a lot of his rookie cards. They are so much more than they were before he won the Super Bowl. Even to this lead up of the Super Bowl, there's cards that I had bought for $100 in 10 grades that are still sitting at $800, $900 after coming down in price. So the idea that, there's some sort of a bargain to be had here, and who knows where they could go. Maybe just a ton of money flows into Mahomes and the prices continue to move on up. And that could very well be the case. I guess that's the thing that really interests me. Do people bail out on some of these other guys, the Joe Burrows and the Lamar Jacksons and the T-Laws and whoever else it's going to be? Are they going to bail and just move money into Mahomes? Are they going to bail on Tom Brady cards and move into Mahomes stuff? If that does happen, if people bail on Brady, I will buy more Brady stuff. I'm going to continue kind of doubling down, tripling down. And even if Mahomes wins 8 titles, still like the fact that I'm sitting with, the 1A, 1B of the GOATs. If it's Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes are the guys here, and I'm getting in at the right price point, I feel fine about it. Again, these are long-term holds. We're not talking about short-term flips. So let me know what you think. Are football card collectors going to maneuver and just kind of put all their chips into the Mahomes basket now? Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.